This time Yerushalmi Eruvin in the article Ozvar edition were Mamash Tap Chav Dal Gamral Mali Teno Alpaim Amma Meruvah Beisoy, and in the Vilna that is on Daf Chav Beis and Beis, the sixth last line Mali Teno Alpaim Amma Meruvah Beisoy. So in our Mishnah we said that the this guy who said chum nafal gal nisaf al chuma benit meisi be chuma nivnis be yoim and mishra sheikha harez arab im safek mer yuda omer harez chamar gamal. So going on that statement, there's a chamar gamal. So chamar gamal, the pashtus is we said he has 2,000 amos, just only 2,000 amos. So we said yesterday he loses 2,000 amos on either side, but he has 2,000 amos in the middle from his house to the Arab and back again. He doesn't have 2,000 amos beyond the Arab, nor 2,000 amos on the other side from his house. He has 2,000 in the middle. But it's not so sure about that here. Where it says, I don't know about that. My tell basically we give him the 2,000 amos in the middle from his Arab to his house. Now, the way the Noam Yerushalmi learns, which is the way we're going to learn this, is the word is not clear because once he had a mind to uproot his place from his original place, uproot his shvisa from his original place in his house, and he didn't get a new shvisa in this new place. So so maybe he doesn't have a shvisa at all. Maybe he's stuck wherever he is. He has to spend all of Shabbos there. Has no place to go anywhere. So says Rabbi Ba Bar Memo Amar Noisimlo. He gets 2,000 amos. The 2,000 from his house there he gets. Rabbi Shimon Bar Ba Bar Rav Yitzchak Amar ain't Noisimlo. Don't give him those 2,000 amos. Rabbi Shem Markum Rabbi Yossi Shem Rabbi Acha. Rabbi Shemi said in front of Rabbi Yossi, name Rabbi Acha Ma Plikin Cry Meir. The Rambam is very Meir. Bram Kiyuda call him on nice Modim Shinoisim. Now, this is going by our Mishnah. Our Mishnah, doesn't seem to be any difference between Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. They both say the same thing. Raise Chamar Gamal. So according to Yerushalmi, the reference is to Perek Daled, Mishnah Daled. In Perek Daled, Mishnah Daled, it says there, Mishi Yoshim Aderech. Somebody slept on the road, V'amad, and he woke up. He slept on the road Erev Shabbos. He woke up on Shabbos. And Harelu Samachlir is near a city. Since he didn't have a mind to enter the city, even though it's within 2,000 amos where he is, Lo Yikonis, different Mayor can't go in. That's our Mayor's opinion. Mayor Yikonis, it says he can go in. So the understanding is there that, according to Rabbi Yehuda, were it to have known the city was close, he certainly would have a mind to be Koine Shvisa in the city. So it's as if he acquired a Shvisa in the city. But so certainly over here, he acquires shvisa and he keeps the shvisa in his home, or for that matter in the new place. But there actually we don't know if it worked. So in any event, he certainly keeps the shvisa in his home. So therefore, he at least has those 2,000 amos from the. From his home. Let's make that clear. Had he known that his Eruv was eaten up before Shabbos, he certainly would have wanted to make his shvisa from his home. So therefore, we assume his shvisa is from his home. But that was going to be Yehuda. But according to our mayor, who says there you don't acquire anything, he's stuck where he is outside the city. Maybe there he's not kind of with the people of the city. I'm sorry. Maybe it's like there he's not kind of with the people of the city. So also he is not doesn't acquire. He's doesn't require the Arab in his original place. He's missing data in both places. There's missing data at the city nearby. Here's missing data at the city that his Arab is in. Just like there, he's missing data. He doesn't acquire an Arab with the city. He's missing data. He doesn't acquire his original Arab. Or perhaps, let's say the contrary, that there he was never in that city and never knew of it. And therefore, he could not possibly have acquired a shvisa in the city after he fell asleep on Erev Shabbos. But here, he knew he had his place, right? And at home. So maybe once the other place did not pan out, he defaults down to his house. Okay, so that's the issue. So according to Yehuda, Mapli Ramer, the whole Mapli is the Ramer who says they're not going to be in the city, but Rabbi Yehuda, everybody agrees that he gets a shvisa in his house. The low dami chamar gamal, the Rabbi Meir, the chamar gamal, the Rabbi Yehuda. So that's the case. The chamar gamal in our Mishnah, even though Rabbi Yehuda and Meir seem to be saying the same thing, they're not actually saying the same thing. It's not the same chamar gamal. The next few lines some people change the girsa, some people don't change the girsa. It's possible to work it either way. Let's go to Reb Chaim who changes the girsa. So the Gemara says, Chamar Gamal did Rabbi Yehuda. Not Ray Meir. I wonder if the article changes it. I have to check that. No, not in text. He doesn't change it. Okay, so Chamar Gamal did Rabbi Yehuda. Eruvo, he doesn't get he didn't get his eruv. Lakas to uproot his legs from the status of his own city, meaning from his house. So therefore, he still retains his house. So Chamar Gamal Rabbi Meir, again switching to Chaim, since he had in mind to uproot his legs from the people of his city, and he wasn't able to because it wasn't effective. So therefore, perhaps he loses. Again, it's Machlokes here, Rabbi Ba and Rabbi Shua Bar Rabbi Yitzchak. Perhaps he loses his even the 2,000 amos in between his wherever he is and his eruv. Okay, so now guys, another contradiction on our Mishnah. Tamatina, we learned Sveikotar. The Korban Eda says Tamatina mikvahs by base Sveikotar Mishnah Tome Sufik Taba. We don't know if the mikvah is a good mikvah or not. Sveikotar, so sub is Tor. The Chaim brings down so about the Tumah de Rabbanon, so therefore it could be Mekel. So the Sufik is Tor. Okay, the Sufik says Tor. Rabbi Yossi Mitami. Rabbi says no, he's Tame. So why is he Tame? Rabbi Yonah lav lo tim Rabbi Yossi mishum hochach. He said that Rabbi Yossi only says Tame because there's a hochach. The Korban says Raglaim Ladover Shutame came to have my tummy tchilaso because there's a Raglaim Ladover Shutame because he had a cheskas tuma. The Reb Chaim learns a much more elaborate case. He's saying that the hochach is there was a mikvah shnimta v'nimtzo chaser and had no cheskas kashrus. It was not known at some point it was kosher. So that's the hochach, is that right now it's nimda v'nimtzo chaser. It gives an alternative scenario. Also, there are two mikvahs, you don't know which one you toiveled, and there's no hochacha that it was ever a kosher mikvah. Okay, so Omar, so that's Rabbi Yonah. Omar Rabbi here it says Yonah, but unfortunately changed to Rabbi Yossi, the Amoira, because arguing Rabbi Yonah. I feel Malcolm Acher Rabbi Yossi Mitami. It's even time Malcolm Acher and the Korban says in Raglaim Ladover yesh sofik Mitam Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi Mitami where there's no Raglaim Ladover, and again according to the there's no Raglaim Ladover that he remains Tomei. Chaim says, for example, in the case where the mikveh was measured at one point and did have 40 saw and cheskas kashrus. And yet, nevertheless, later on, when he goes to mikveh and you find after he went to mikveh that it's chaser, that you say he remains tummy. So that obviously contradicts our Mishnah, because our Mishnah said, remember, talking about Tumah Rabbanan. So Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon said, Sofik Erev is kosher our Mishnah. So Mechafashi taught said Rabbi Yossi. The next words Rabbi Yossi is superfluous. Shmuel Schloss takes it out. But even if it Mechafashi taught said Rabbi Yossi, it's a contradiction, Rabbi Yossi, but it's better if you take him out. We learned, Amar Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi said, hey, Abtul Hashem Chamishas came, Sofik Erev kosher. He said the Sofik Erev is kosher, our Mishnah. So, V'kar Marachain, he said there's by Sofik Erev, where there's no Raglaim over either way, he says it's kosher, and there he says it's Tameh. How do you reconcile the two? That there it says Tameh, and here it says Tor. So it says Gemara, Tam Shem Garmei. There, the story in his own name, he says it's Tameh, right? For whatever reason, whether it's Rabbi Yonah's reason, Rabbi Yossi's reason, right? Because Mishum Hochad knows no, there was Raglaim Dover, there was Tameh. Well, it's really going to question called Rabbi Yossi. It could be that's what it says Rabbi Yossi the second time. You know what? Chav says Rabbi Yossi according to Rabbi Yossi. I wonder if someone knows that way. I think it could be shot. Now, I don't see anybody says it, but I think it could be shot. Most people did take out the second Rabbi Yossi. But according to Chav says Rabbi Yossi, according to Rabbi Yossi. Right? According to Rabbi Yossi Amora, the sheet of Rabbi Yossi in our Mishnah is contradicted. Right? Because in our Mishnah he says Sofik Erev is kosher. Right? And there he says, I feel Mokum Acher, even there's no Raglaim but Davar Shu Tameh, right? Still Rabbi Yossi is Matami. So how do you reconcile the two? So so the Gemara says, Tam Hashem Garmei. There, Rabbi Yossi says in his own name, Tomei. But here, this says name of five Cain. That's that the Erev is a valid Erev. So, but he himself, had he his druthers over here, said in his own name, Mitaka might have said the Erev is no good. Because there's no raglaim, but over the Erev is a valid Erev. Boy Memar. They wanted to say, Mandamar Tamad Tor. They wanted to say that, like we just said, the person says their Tor. Amar Hachamutzah here says, valid Erev. Mandamar Tamad Tomei. That it says over there it's Tamei. Amar Hachamutzah. That was the presumption of the whole discussion we just had. So Umar says, not necessarily. Afilu Kamanda Mar Tamad Tomei. Moda Hachashamutzah. Even the opinion shows there it's Tomei. Here he concedes that it's mutter. So going to Rabbi Yoni to say because there's ancient hochach, because we said I'm sorry, he said el mishum hochach because there's raglaim ledavar that he's tamei again according to Reb Chaim because the mikvah never had a cheskas kashrus, but here there's no raglaim ledavar that the erev should not be valid. On the contrary, when you put it down before Shabbos, it was valid. Question what happened later on, but at that point, I had to establish kashrus, right? So and even according to Rabbi Yossi, who says even there is no raglayim ledover that it should be tummy. So the Pnei Moshe says, the Korbanei says very interesting thing. It says. The shiny tumas yeshel ikum min Torah. Even though tumas rabbanan there, it's ikum min Torah. The yesh tumas min Torah. Yesh machem misafik tfilasa. But tchumin rabbanan is fekel lahakel. But tchumin rabbanan, you can be lenient. So Amar Bechina is that klumin upligen tamon v'lo medivreim safik livreim lahakel. Right? He says there's machlokes by tumas rabbanan, like we just said, and so then it should be mekel. There is var Torah. Here should be this Vartorah. But sorry to be Achmir. Should say the opposite. Here should be more Machmir. Because there, the tomb is Rabbanan. And Eruv, the is 12,000 amos. Eruv has an Ika Deraisa. Evidently, the tumah there is, although the shame tumah is Rabbanan, the shame tumah is Deraisa, but the tumah there in question is the tumah Rabbanan made up. But Chumin has a deraisa. So says Gemara, is that true? Rabbi Yonasan Amar Rabbi Chia Ruba b'shem Rabbi Shimon Bar Yossi ben Lakunya lokin al tchumei Shabbos de'oraisa. It says, yeah, you get Malchus on tchumei Shabbos, not Kores, but Malchus. So it says Gemara Chia Ruba. Chia said to him, Shabbos ela skila b'kares. There's only skila b'kares. There's no such thing as lav. So the next line, the girsa has to be changed. I'm going to read the change girsa in Korban Eda. Hakasin amalei v'aksiv shvu ish tachtav ayit seish mikom yom hashvi. Amalei said maksiv lo alksiv. So what does it say? It doesn't say al. Amalei vaksiv al toch limenu na. Maksiv lo al ksiv. So a little bit confusing, but we'll read the Korban explains. Vaki Pirusha. Amalei Rabbi Yonasan. Rabbi Yonasan said vaksiv al yetzei v'gomer. Reish yesh lav b'yisur Shabbos. Yesh yetzei v'shukom. There's a lav. Yitzar b'yisur Shabbos and only Malchus. Amalei Bechia ain't look at lav said no. It's not. You don't get Malchus's lav. Came with lo ksiv lo yetzei ish. V'gomer. It doesn't say lo yetzei. Aksiv al yetzei. Ve'ein loka lav in shtem b'loshen al. Okay, Malchus and lav, which is stated in a loshen of al, not in a loshen of lo. Amalei Rabbi Yossi said v'aksiv al toch lumimenu na. Says you can't eat Korban Pesach raw. Divide lokin. These do get Malchus. What's the miksiv lo? Pitmiya, does it say lo over there? Aksiv al. Hafilachi lokin alav. Even still, you get Malchus. So, Rabbi Yossi Babun, Alpha P Kane, even though it's a good raya from out the Menuna, Zel maybe Shmuel, Zel maybe Shmuel. So each one retained his position, and the Rabbi Chia holds there is no Malchus, and the Rabbi Shimon ben Yossi, Rabbi Yossi ben Lakunya holds there is Malchus. So he looked at Marapanim. He says, "Hach milsa muchleves shita he bavli so per kama." There it's Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yona's son. Rabbi Yona's son is the one who quoted Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yossi ben Lakunya. So the Rabbi Yona's son is Shitz Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yona's son, Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yona's son, Yona's son, Rabbi Chia. Plus Garam is Rabbi Chia, according to the Bavli. Breish Berachos Zayin Shabbos is the Chutz Tchum Amdina b'Shabbos Loike. Nimaskana Dacha Ilcha Mechuver Kam El Yud Beis Mil Mimachne. So, but it's only a Yud Beis Mil, not a 2,000 amos. But but there is Taka. The Rambam there is Malchus by Yitzim Chutz Tchum of the Tchum of 12,000 amos. Amar Shua bar Sisrata Eruv also so Kesafek Cherish. An Erev, they made it as a Safek Cherish. Now, the Nir explains that there is made it like a Safek Tumah She'emo Dasli Shoil. A Safek Tumah where there's the entity involved in the Tumah, somewhere there's you can't ask any questions, where we say we're Machshir Mesafek. So, a Safek Eruvin, the same thing. Safek Tumah, Safek Tara, they say they made it like a Cherish by, and the Bnei Moshe says about the Botzek on Pesach. The Karmen says it's about Cherish B'Shas Kiddushin. Right? So Botzek Cherish is Bnei Moshe's case where you don't know if dough became was machmitz or not machmitz. The Karmen says it's Safek Cherish. You don't know if it's Cherish when it was Mekadosh Isha. It wasn't Cherish, it was Mekadosh Isha. In any event, then the bottom of the Nir says story about Safek Tumah She'emo Dasli Shoil, where we are Meko. So Yirmiyah said, he asked a question, Akadum B'Kaim. That makes sense where it exists and it's Tor. It's Safek if it's Tameh, it's Safek Tor. It's like any other Safek Tumah, even though it's true. Here it's not Cherish, because whoever put the Erev down, you can ask him, can inquire of him what the story was. But but nevertheless, okay, you could say they were Meko and say it's like Safek Cherish, as if there's nobody around to ask about anything. No way to inquire, and therefore you're Meko. But what about feeling this rough? But what about if it's feeling this rough? Even if it gets burnt, how do you apply Safek Cherish to that? So I explained the base of Rabbi Yosha said he yucha. It's an interesting lashon. It's like Hagatz Mecha, right? But it means that the conclusion you must reach, I guess, is what Chaim translates it. Just like Kamar Rabbi Yoshia. He doesn't really translate the words, literally. Doesn't get literally translate the word. What you must attain, I guess, what you have to conclude. If I announce the end in the end, Tchumei Shabbos, and I'm the Raisa, meaning that Midaraisa, it's not 2,000 amos. And therefore, since the 2,000 amos is not the Raisa, so therefore they can be Mekel. Like Heimomur V'Heimomur. They said, we're going to make the 2,000 amos will be Mekel, even in Safek Nisraf. As if it's the same type of Safek as Safek Cheresh by Tumantara. Ramana said, asked, Nicha L'Apayim Amma in Mechuvar. Apayim already stated, Nicha Apayim Amma in Mechuvar. And our boss of him, Amma Mechuvaru. He holds that 4,000 amos is Doraisa. Says Mar B'Shim Bar Kasem Shem V'Acha Encha Mechuvar Kulam El Tchum Shteimas Amil V'Kamachne Yisrael. No, the only thing which is the Raisa Mechuvar is 12,000 amos Kamachne Yisrael. Anything less 12,000 amos is only the Rabban. Okay, Aloche, masna dam le'eruvo. A person can make a condition on his eruv. Says Karmeda. Meniach adam shtei eruvin echel l'sofa apayim l'mizrach beisel echel l'sofa apayim l'mara beisel. But one in the east, one in the west. This is an issue of brera. Can you where it has to be clarified retroactively? At the time you put it down, you don't know which one you want. Some other event has to come and clarify later on. With bad rabbanans, we do say yesh brera, so therefore it's effective. It says in bo akum mizrach. If the non-Jews are coming on the east and I want to flee to the west, eruvi l'marav. So there's the west. In bo min amarav, if they come from the west, eruvi mizrach. And Ma'arav is to the east. In bo makana mikan, if they come on both sides. Then the Malcolm She'erza Elech. I can choose tomorrow myself. Lobo Lemikam Lekan, and if they don't come on either side, I will remain like the people of my city. Okay, I think that might bring us actually to the end of the blot. Yes, I mean it's Chav Ham and Aleph. The last 7 days have been relatively short by recent Yerushalmi standards, and then brings us to the end for today.